Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. Established in 2014, DeLuna Coffee is owned and operated by the Lemmix family. Ed, Courtney, and their son Brett. Ed graduated from FSU in 1979, Brett in 2009. Lifelong fans and Florida State boosters, the Lemmixes attend multiple football games every year where you can find them tailgating near the Unconquered statue. Pull up a chair and pour yourself a Palafox Place. Named after the main hub, Palafox Place in downtown Pensacola, DeLuna has combined a Brazilian, Colombian, and African bean to give it just the right flavor. This coffee can be enjoyed any time of the day. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi
and Corey Clark.
East Point, smoke some dank.
Wake up! What is up? It is Wake Up Warchant. It is fueled by DeLuna Coffee. DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 when you go to DeLunaCoffee.com. The tumbler, the coffee, the desserts, all in one. It's called a bundle. Maybe not dessert, just a great snack. It's all available at DeLunaCoffee.com. Get the bundle, get your tumbler, support DeLuna, support Warchant. Football season ever so close. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Thumbs up on the YouTube, everybody. Certainly would appreciate it. 5-star rating and review on your Apple device would be equally appreciated. Corey Clark, always in high demand, always bringing it. Come bring it, Corey. How are you, friend?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I hope you had a good weekend. I trust that you did.
Yeah, man. How about you? How was your weekend? Actually, first off, shout out to our guy, Austin Cox, staff writer, taking the plunge, proposed to his fiance, proposed to his girlfriend. He's engaged, our dude, Austin. So tweet at him. Show some love. Congrats. Any advice to him, Corey, as he gets ready to embark upon true love and matrimony?
Well, number one, he's putting the pressure on me. That's a good job, Austin. Well done there. And no, I'm divorced, so I'm not maybe the best person to give advice. Ira would be a good. Okay. Gene,
yeah.
Jeff,
yeah.
Tom. I mean, we have four strong marital, employees in the Warchant family. So he can get. There's plenty of other guys to go to for advice. All right. But congratulations to him and her. Obviously, a bigger deal for him than her. I mean, come on now, let's be honest. Austin hit it out of the park, so congratulations to him.
Maya is her name, so yeah, shout out to those two kids. Best of luck. Football season kind of almost doesn't really start tomorrow on Tuesday because they've been doing tour of duty. We will be out there Tuesday, so probably leave me alone for the next, 10, 12 hours, everybody. I'll try to bring it on the next program. We'll drop a Wednesday podcast. We'll share our observations. Maybe we'll get Ira to hop on, since Corey will be up in Atlanta. But we'll be out there, Gene, Ira, myself. I think Austin's actually coming up for it. Crazy dude. So we do get football in our diet. Friday we'll speak to MikeNorvell at the pre-spring luncheon. And then Saturday it starts, everybody. If you can't wait till Saturday, we'll have you covered on warchant.com. We're going to be doing some videos on these transfers that came in and trying to size up just how realistic it is to expect them to make an instant impact. We'll drop a Caden Lyles video later today on Monday. Check it out. Spread the word. All that kind of good stuff. He's not even the most encouraging one, although we're coming out the gate with him. So I try to get everybody, Corey, all the transfers, but unfortunately there's not an Albany rival site. Reached out to Jared Verse's college coach. Couldn't get a hold of him. Lamar doesn't have a Rivals website either, so couldn't reach out to one of their writers. Although I guess maybe I could get somebody who's on the beat. Didn't even think about that. Didn't even think about going outside the Rivals.com family. But anyhow, I think we've got like 7 knocked out pretty much right now. So Caden Lyles isn't even the baddest of the bunch, and he's got a lot of good feedback from the people that we spoke to up in Madison. So be on the lookout for that. Don't want to totally spoil all that. Are you excited, Corey, for spring football to start? Almost, kind of. We're almost there.
I mean, yeah, we got still a week, right? We still got 5 days, but yeah, I'm excited. A lot of questions to be answered. Well, I don't know if they're going to be answered. necessarily, but we'll have much more of a we'll know much more about these guys when we see them in person than just highlight films from a year or 2 years ago. So I am looking forward to that, to just see what these guys look like in person. But yeah, we'll see.
If the provided their health is fine, won't we at least know what we'll have out of these transfers? That's kind of why I wanted to tackle this sort of project, is that we'll know by April what we can expect out of these guys, but kind of why wait? Let's see the people that have already covered them.
Yeah, I think the transfers, and I think the two quarterbacks. Those are your big. They're not in talking about Rodemaker and Duffy. You'll know what those guys are, or you'll have a much better idea what they can be for you in 4 months, 5 months, right? Like, it's not a referendum on their whole career. Like if Duffy struggles in March of his freshman year, it doesn't mean he's not going to be any good. It just means you kind of know what to expect 4 or 5 months from now.
Yes.
And so I think you can answer some questions along those lines with the quarterbacks, and then with the transfers. I think the kid from UCF and the kid from West Virginia, the linebacker and the receiver, are the two guys that probably don't need to prove themselves. They've proven enough. Like they'll go out there and look fine. I'm not going to really be paying attention to them that much because we kind of know what they are, right? They've proven themselves. Not that I won't care how they look and how they integrate themselves into the team, but I'm really more interested in the running back from Oregon and then the 3 other wide receivers just to see because they haven't done as much as Winston Wright did at West Virginia.
Right.
And in Jared Verse, I want to see what that looks like. Much more. I mean, I just think the kid at UCF, we know what he is. He's a solid to good college linebacker.
Yeah, I still want to see Tatum Bethune go out there and earn it, though. I still want to. I want to be like, all right, yeah, that looks better than what we saw last spring. Do you remember what Jermaine looked like? I don't even remember what Jermaine looked like in the spring. Did we see him do a lot?
Yeah. I thought we
had him like in number 2 on our preseason top 40, so he obviously did something. Now, did we expect Defensive Player of the Year? No, but we thought, okay, they got something good here. So, again, I think by the end of these 15 practices or whatever it is, at least these guys that have played, literally thousands of snaps at college, or at least played in dozens of football games at the Power 5 level, like, okay, that's going to be something that's an improvement over what we have seen. So, can't wait to see that. But until then, let's talk about the weekend that was, Corey. The Monday show, always a popular one. This might be the last time we can start off with basketball, so let's get to it. Good grief. What an amazing win for Leonard Hamilton and the basketball program on Saturday against Virginia, 64-63. Matthew Cleveland, hero of the day. I looked up at my screen on my television as I was doing some other video work, and it was like, under 2 minutes left. I think Florida State was down by 8. I'm like, all right, this is game over. And then I look up, and then I say, whoa, look at that. It's like a 2-point game. Walk me through just how much or how little business Florida State had coming back and winning that game, and what did it really show? I guess how much of a testament is it to what Leonard Hamilton and this culture has created?
Well, I will say this first and foremost. Other than losing to a 16 seed in the first round of the NCAA tournament, that had to be one of maybe Tony Bennett's worst loss. I mean, that's crazy. They are in contention for an NCAA tournament bid. They were probably on the inside of the bubble at that point. And then they lose to a team without 4 starters. Probably their 4 most consistent best players, at least 3 of them. You lose to that team that just got beat by 20 at Boston College. It had no business even being competitive in that game, and you somehow lose to them. Unbelievable. But yeah, that is maybe. I'm trying to think of anything that rivals that since I've been at Florida State, and I know there are a few probably in any sport that I've been more surprised than what happened on Saturday. Not because that's a great Virginia team. I mean, I just said they were a bubble team. But it was a desperate Virginia team that absolutely needed that win. A home game against a team that just, when they lose on the road, they get blown out. They got blown out by BC their last game. Didn't really seem to want to be there. Didn't play with a ton of confidence. Just an ugly, ugly showing. And then for them to come out on a Saturday and then be down by, I think they were down by 10 with 3 minutes left. Usually that's a wrap against Virginia because there's just not enough possessions to go. And then, they somehow won that game. I don't want to say Virginia blew it because they hit some big shots too. Now, it wasn't like they just kept handing the ball to Florida State. But Florida State went and took it. And look, man, that's the Matthew Cleveland that, and I'm not talking about the game winner because that was just, who can even describe that? I mean, that I was thinking about it because Florida State might be is one of the leaders in the country the last 10 years with buzzer beaters. I mean, they have 1 or 2 a year, so it's not anything new for them to hit a game-winning shot at the buzzer in the final seconds. But that's the first one that was a miracle shot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that one, that wasn't in the flow of the offense, like Raekwon doing what Raekwon, hitting the game winner against Clemson. That wasn't in the flow or snare shots. This was just a catch and heave from 30 feet. Great pass by Prieto.
But man, that's about as great of a look as you're going to get having to go, the whole entire
94 feet in 1 second. Yeah. I mean, and for him to catch it and to have the wherewithal to catch it and know how, sometimes these young guys want to take a dribble or want to square up and you just don't have that kind of time. He just caught it and hoisted it. Unbelievable. I mean, literally, Stephanie, my sister had a birthday party dinner on Saturday night. So I was watching the game. She was upstairs getting ready. And then she heard me yell out, "Oh my God." And she's like, "What?" Like she was worried because I don't react to sporting events like that. I've been doing it long enough that like even when Snare hit the buzzer beater against Duke, I was like, "Oh, cool, man." Like nothing crazy. Yeah. But it was so out of the realm of possibility that he hit it falling away from his shoulder, hoisting it in that. So she wanted to know what was wrong with me. I'm like, no, watch this shot. And then that happened. And another funny story about that. I don't do this. I'm not proud of the story I'm about to tell you guys. But I was convinced that Florida State could not keep that game close. It was at 8 points. I think the spread started out at like 6, and then it quickly moved up to 8. And so on Saturday morning, I got up. I have a few friends that might do some friendly wagering. And I was like, hey, guys, I don't ever do this because I don't. But if you're looking for some free money, I don't see a way that Florida State can keep this game close. Virginia's favored by 8. It went up to 9 before tip. Virginia's favored by 8. I don't see how Florida State can keep it close. I'm not sure they're going to score 40 points. So a buddy of mine bet Virginia -9 and took the under and lost them both.
Yeah, that was a high-scoring one for Tony
for
Bennett.
A Virginia game, yeah. And he was comfortably in the under until the final 3 minutes. So yeah, he was not happy with me. I'm like, man, I promise you that he wasn't hearing it. He just wasn't hearing it. So he'll never listen to me again. But yeah, that's how surprised I was. I was just bumfuzzled. I mean, what a win. What an unbelievable win. Oh, and back to Cleveland real quick. I know I'm all over the place.
No, keep going.
But what was good to see from him, it wasn't just the heave to win the game. He literally went into the paint and made some pull-up jumpers. He hadn't done that in 2 months. It felt like 6 weeks, 2 months had he had a consistent jumper in the mid-range, which was a big part of his offense early on. And in that game, he hit 3 or 4, and they looked pure. So maybe that gets him going a little bit too. Butler had some nice moments. Prieto had his best game probably at Florida State. And yeah, man, that was just an all-time for a season that has been a disappointment because of all the injuries. That is an all-time great win, man. That was just an unbelievable win.
Yeah, what was going to stick in my mind was the tweet you had about, like, they had the 2-on-1 breakaway late in the game, and it was like, just give it up, please give it up, please give it up, and then he kind of doesn't go to the rim hard and gets fouled and then just totally misses rim on one of his free throws, and you're like, gosh, man, let's get this figured out. But, hey, just hit game winners at the end. All Florida State does is go to overtime and win games or win by 1. I think that's 5 now.
Which I have to imagine leads the country. There can't be another team that has 6 one-point wins. 5 one-point wins is nuts. And, yeah, that's the thing. I tweeted about that.
And they beat NC State by 2, by the way. And they beat NC State by 2 in the beginning of the year. So
and so they had, that play you're talking about. This is the stuff that Cleveland still needs to learn and grow. He gets a steal in the open court. He's racing to the rim with a Virginia defender. I think he's got Fletcher right behind him. Yeah. Like literally 3 feet behind him. All you have to do, and I'm sure they went over this in film study, I would hope, but just attack the rim, make the defender commit, drop it off to your teammate for 2 points, Matthew. 2 points. It doesn't matter if you get the points, your team gets the points. And I don't think he's a selfish player. He doesn't have maybe necessarily the floor vision yet or the feel to do things like that. But he cost his team 2 points right there because he gets fouled. Great. You're a 50% free throw shooter. You missed both of them, and one of them was an air ball. So next time, dump that ball off to a teammate for a dunk, man. Assists are good too. And he has the ability to do that. That's the thing. When you watch that team, and at the end of the game, the three guys on the floor were, they had Butler, Worley, and Cleveland on the floor for the last 4 minutes of that game when the run happened. And they all made big plays. So, yeah, man, you start to think again, okay, I know it was a 1 point kind of fluky, crazy win, but you start to see, man, Cleveland's got something to him. Worley really does look like he's got something to him these last few games. So you start to get a little, maybe a little more encouraged going into next season than you would otherwise. Because that was there. I'm trying to, again, I'll think of something else. I'll think of another incredible win by Florida State standards, but that is an all-timer. To go in there and be down 10 to a team that plays that style and somehow 10 with 3 minutes to go and somehow win on a crazy 30-foot fall-away buzzer beater. And, oh, boy, broke some Virginia hearts.
The radio calls were great. Shout out to Deckerhoff. His fastball is still there sometimes, man. The radio call was amazing. The Virginia radio call, the pain was glorious. You could feel it down in your plums.
Well, and they also, because they had hit that pull-up jumper with a second left, or they thought of 4/10 of a second left. So that Virginia radio announcer is like, the Who's are still alive for the NCAA tournament, not knowing that, a minute later after the timeout, Matthew Cleveland was going to break their hearts. And then Tony Bennett afterwards was just, he wasn't inconsolable because he's a pro, but it was as close as you can be. Like, you could tell he was absolutely devastated.
I know, just because there's no way you think you have that game lost after you knock down that runner. I mean, just the fact that Florida State takes the lead and then Virginia runs the length of the court to take the lead back.
Well, no, Cleveland tied the game.
They tie the game up?
Yeah.
But the fact that, it was so easy. I mean, they guarded the inbound pretty good for the first, 4.5 seconds, but, right before they're going to get called for 5 seconds, they just gives it, runs back off the freaking end line, and then gets the ball back and just goes the length of the floor, then knocks down a jumper. You're like, all right, well, that's just – and I felt so bad. It was because Florida State had fought so hard to get back into the game. There were so many moments where they could have just folded and totally quit. But they don't. Leonard won't let them. But, they fought so hard to get so close, tie the game up, and they're like, all right, let's go to overtime, see what happens. Might get crazy. And then Virginia hits that shot. You're like, I went from feeling so bad for them. I felt so bad for Florida State. Tora, I'm like, I kind of felt a little bit bad for Virginia for a fraction of a second. And then I'm like, that was amazing. Because even myself, sitting here by myself, watching it on TV, when it went down, I'm like, let's go. I lost it. I lost it for a few good seconds. So it was a solid Saturday. Can't complain.
No, it was incredible, and it was just one of a number. Didn't the top 6 teams in the country lose on Saturday? That's college basketball for you.
7? I think 7. I think Gonzaga made it 7, but yeah, somewhere in that vicinity.
Yeah, I know 7 of the top 9 did. I just didn't know if it was the top 7, but right. Yeah, man. Again, this team isn't going to the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
Sure, they could find some magic in Brooklyn and win 4 1-point games. That's probably not going to happen. But yeah, credit to Butler, credit to Worley, and credit to Cleveland. I think this is invaluable experience to because it's on them. They're all playing 30 minutes or close to it because they have to. They're playing more than they've ever have. They're having to make shots because nobody, they're it. Yeah, there's nobody from the bench. None of those guys. Maybe Polite comes back soon, but they weren't there on Saturday, so these guys know it's on them. And I just thought they played with the requisite energy and effort that it takes to at least stay in the game there. I didn't think they were going to win, but even when they were down 10 with 3 minutes left, I'm like, man, this might be the most encouraging game they've had since beating Duke. Just the way they did not go into a shell. They did make some shots. They made some tough shots. They have some defensive deficiencies. I mean, you're having to play Prieto and Wyatt Wilkes a lot. You're not going to be, and the other guys are young and don't know where they're supposed to be. So you're going to give up. Virginia scored on 9 straight trips in the first half, 9 straight possessions. So there's some things that you just can't overcome to be like a good college basketball team. But the energy and the confidence level was there, and the want to, all seem to be there, man. Worley with that driving dunk. Worley is going to be a steals machine in 2 years. He's so close to being and I didn't have any problem with what he did there at the end where he was on the ground He's trying to give his team the lead. He didn't get enough on the pass to Butler. Yeah, he probably should have wrapped up, but he was trying to give his team the lead in the open court, and he just, I like the idea. I like the aggression. It just didn't work out, although it ended up working out, right, because they won the game. But yeah, I was really impressed with Worley and Cleveland. They're kind of want to defensively. And they had 9 blocks, I think, as a team. I think Fletcher had 2 or 3. Butler had a couple. Yeah, man, just everything about it. To win that game where you have Raekwon Evans, who's, is what he is, a walk-on at another forward spot, and then 3 true freshmen on the floor, and then you go beat a team that's desperate for a win on their home court in a sold-out gym trying to get to the NCAA tournament that just took Duke to the wire at Duke and beat them a couple weeks ago. Just an unbelievable win, man. That's certainly the best win of the season, the craziest win of the season, and it's just, We'll see what they can do. Maybe they'll find some magic. I'm not going to tell my friend. I don't know what the spread is going to be against Notre Dame on Wednesday. I did tell my buddy, look, they never play Notre Dame well. It is a bad matchup. He's like, shut up. I don't care. I was like, man, they're not going to have their starters back. Notre Dame always hits a ton of threes. I'm done. I don't want to hear you anymore. So I don't think he's going to take my betting advice anymore, nor should anyone. But yeah, that was an all-time just unbelievable shot, unbelievable effort.
If it ended right now, Florida State would play Syracuse in their first matchup at the ACC tournament up there in Brooklyn. Florida State's got 2 more games left. As Corey said, they take on Notre Dame Wednesday, 7 o'clock, and then Saturday at 2 p.m., NC State. Both games at home. And who knows, man? You get Caleb Mills back, you get Anthony Polite back, and maybe you have some confidence. Crazier things have happened. Not counting on it, but, we'll have some fun here in March maybe, at least for the first week in Brooklyn.
The clutch shot, the biggest hits. It's time for the Zaxby's Indescribably Good
Player of the Week.
You heard the man. It's time for the Zaxby's Indescribably Good Player of the Week. Shout out to my guy Trey Cunningham out there winning the conference. I see you, Trey. But we'll wait till you win nationals to get you back on the show. Let's go to the links over at the Seminole Legacy Golf Course, which I have not played yet, but I heard it's an absolute bear. Pun intended. Shout out to Amelia Williamson, Corey. She won the tournament. She's a champion of the event. 3 days. She goes 2 under par on Friday, 4 under par 68 Saturday, moving day sometimes people call it, and then holds on with a 1 under 71 to win the tournament, defend our home course. Shout out to Amelia Williamson. She is my Zaxby's Indescribably Good Player of the Week.
Yeah, I'm going to go, we've already talked about it a bit, but when you hit a 30-foot game winner at the buzzer at Virginia, you're going to be the indescribable. It's literally indescribable. I tried it for like 15 minutes, and I didn't do a very good job of describing anything. But Matthew Cleveland, 20 points, 8 of 14 shooting. It wasn't just the last 3. He scored the game-tying bucket with 6 seconds left. He had an and one earlier like 30 seconds before that on the last possession, and it was a true and one. Usually with him, it can be an and none. My man stepped up and made that free throw to cut it to 1, then made the crazy runner where he really got fouled to tie it up, and then hit the shot of all shots, a shot he'll remember for the rest of his life. What's cool about it when you watch the replay, too, is Prieto's arms go in the air before the ball's in the bucket.
Yeah.
Like Prieto has a feeling, just I guess their trajectory of it, you can see him start celebrating before the ball's even gone in the air. So just a really cool moment for that team and for that kid who had been struggling a little bit. Matthew, doesn't mean you need to go pro, but you are indescribably good Player of the Week.
And also shout out to Ham. Ham didn't even flinch. Prieto might have, but Ham after it went down, he's like, all right, let me go shake.
Man, I tell you, that was because Stan Jones has been doing it forever, and he let out a big old fist pump. But Ham literally just stood there. And remember, if you watch, there's some cool footage of Snare's game winner against Duke when the bench goes nuts, and Ham just does like a little head nod and just keeps walking to Coach K. He's been there before. He's seen it all. Cool cat.
Those are our Zaxby's Indescribably Good Players of the Week. Matthew Cleveland and Amelia Williamson. She shot 7 under, Corey. Second place shot 1 under. That's really good. Indescribably good. Let's keep it going with winners, Corey. We talk about winners, baseball, softball, winners. Some win more than others. Not a lot of folks win more than Lonnie Alameda. You actually went and hung out at the Plex late last week. Try to put the Clark stink on them, but nope. They're immune to it. They're now 15-0 on the season. Just kicking people's rear ends, taking names, hitting home runs onto various street corners around campus. They're exciting to watch, man. They're really good. This is not flash in the pan. You don't go down to Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete, actually, really Clearwater, and take out whatever they did, 5 top 25 teams, and have it be a fluke. We should probably start moving our money into the Oklahoma City travel fund, sounds like.
Yeah. As long as they stay healthy, they seem to be well on their way. I wanted the main, and that story. If it's not up on the site as you're listening to this, it will be very soon. I just wanted a day in the life of that program. Like I got there, their practice was team meeting was at 2:30. I got there at 1:30. Met with Lonnie for a bit, and as I got there at 1:30, there were at least 15 players already there. Some were doing hitting stuff. Some were out in the field hitting. Others were doing infield practice. Others were doing pitching practice before practice, just on their own. And I just kind of wanted to feel that the gist of the article is basically we see how much fun they have. And they do have a lot of fun, and they're fun to watch because they're always upbeat and energetic in the dugout. They're always smiling and seem to be laughing and having a good time. Well, yeah, but you don't win games on just puppy dogs and rainbows. You have to put in work, a lot of it. And so I kind of wanted to watch what a day of team meetings and practice was like for an elite team like this, just to see what it was like. And they have fun even in the team meetings, but they also go to work and they do real scouting. I mean, they Lonnie has a way of giving a lesson without maybe even knowing it's a lesson. I compared her to like your favorite English teacher in high school. We're like, or any teacher really, where you don't even realize you're learning because he or she seems like a fun person, and they make the lessons fun but engaging. But you're also learning, and also you don't want to disappoint them. So when they point out something that wasn't great, you kind of take ownership of it. And it had that feel in the team meeting when they were going over. They had just beaten Florida A&M the night before. They had come from behind for it, so they went over that game, and then they did some scout work on Hofstra, Indiana. And just the mood in the room and how it is just she's teaching, she's the coach, but there's some give and take, and there's some girls that say stuff and she says something back to not like challenging her, but giving their own opinion of something and back and forth. And it's a really kind of encouraging team dynamic, an engaged team dynamic. They're all in there, even the ones that don't play a ton. They're all engaged in that. And then the practice is it was like an hour and a half of just breakneck speed with infield. I mean, they did 45 minutes of just infield ground like over and over and over again, and they incorporated the outfield into the infield practice, and they did what do you call it, small ball. They did small ball practice. They did cutoff practice, all in like a 45-minute window. And then I watched Michaela take batting practice, which was unbelievable.
Yeah, man. So your big takeaway is just obviously they're supremely talented, but they're just a very good sort of cohesiveness with them. There's no ego. Yeah. It's a very united front, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they preach is like give everything to the team every day. Give all to the team every day is like their motto, but it is what they preach, and it was on display. And you always wonder because she introduced me to the room, and I actually like fake interviewed a couple of them in front of the whole team nice. To give them some like media training, which was cool, which I thought was cool. But you wonder, okay, is this just for my benefit? Is Lonnie? It's like, no, of course not. It's not for this is how they are. And I talked to Mac Leonard when she was going through BP about that, like just how different it is here because she's the transfer. She hits the ball a ton too, by the way. Just about the feel, how different it is at Florida State than where she was before. And yeah, that's a big part of it. Just they really all seem to be, they all play, which is a big deal too. I think they've had 15 or 16 different players start multiple games. So they all play. But then, yeah, they all like seemingly do really cheer for each other, and they do give their all to the team. And yeah, they're also really good, and they have two really good pitchers, so that helps a lot too.
Michaela Edenfield, our Zaxby's indescribably good alum last week, now has 5 home runs in 12 games played.
I think she's 6, buddy.
6? Oh, I'm reading the wrong one.
I think it's up to 6.
Oh, I can't keep up.
But I'm telling you, it doesn't. So I videoed her taking batting practice behind the cage, and it just doesn't do it justice because the ball leaves the frame so quickly. And from behind home plate, you can't really tell where the ball lands. But, I mean, she's hitting it on the ramp of the parking garage. And she's hitting balls that, like, they're rising as they go over the fence, and that's not hyperbole. Like, I don't know. And even her teammates were, they're saying things like, good Lord. Watching her, and they see her take batting practice all the time. But there are 3 or 4 that she hit where everybody's like, oh, my. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy how the ball flies off her bat. And it's so easy and effortless. And she's a freshman, so it'll be fun to watch her for 3 years. And, yeah, I was legitimately worried, okay, they let me do this. They were nice enough to let me watch practice, and I could walk around and talk to Lonnie as she's instructing, and I was in the team meeting and all that. And then, of course, they're gonna blow a game, or they're gonna lose a couple. They're gonna lose like 1 to Hofstra or 1 to Indiana or something. And no, it's Florida State softball. They went 4-0, and they are now 15-0 on the season.
Yeah, Eden Field, 15 games, 34 at bats, 6 jacks, 1,000 slugging.
And they're not cheated. They don't get cheated. Those hits. I mean, they aren't home runs they're wall scrapers. I mean, these things are 50 feet over the fence. And again, Mac Leonard hits them really hard and far too. But there are a lot of really good hitters on the team. Hence the 15-0 record.
They're back in action midweek home against FAMU. So if you want to get out there and check out what Lonnie and the ladies are cooking up Tuesday, 6:00 against FAM. Where we go? Is that south? Like 100 yards south of the Plex? Dick Hauser Stadium?
I don't know, man. I don't know directions. That could be east or north or west. That's really have no idea.
It's south. Because thing about stadium that runs along that stadium goes north to south.
You mean Mickey Andrews Drive?
Right, correct.
Are we going to call it Mickey Andrews Drive or Mickey Andrews Way?
It has to be Way, right?
Yeah. So I for now on, I don't call it stadium. It's Mickey Andrews Way.
Put really like rugged speed bumps on that road. Or no, Mickey doesn't want that. Mickey wants everybody to have a good day. Shouldn't.
Fair.
Just something defensively. Anyway.
Yeah.
Florida State wins a series against Samford. The sweep eludes them as they drop it, 7-4, I think, Sunday at home against the Bulldogs. So good response Friday and Saturday from them after what they did midweek against Jacksonville, which, again, it happens, but you don't want it to happen. And it's still really super early in the season. There's guys in this lineup that probably aren't going to be in the lineup towards the end of the year because other guys are going to emerge and guys get nicked up, and we still don't know what's up with Tyler Martin. But Parker Messick and Bryce Hubbart just have been absolutely dazzling so far early on in the season. I think Bryce probably had the better weekend last week, although Corey didn't pick him to be his Zaxby's indescribably good player of the week. He went with Alex Terrell. It's fine. It's fine. But Parker kind of, I don't know if he took umbrage to what Bryce did last week, but Parker on Friday night was an absolute freaking masterpiece performance. And then Bryce kind of slogged through Saturday by his standards, but still Samford couldn't do anything, and they had so much two-out hitting that delivered for them Saturday. Still, there's so much to feel encouraged and just, optimistic about when it comes to the baseball team. But then you kind of see them still run the base paths a little, they still kind of kick the ball around sometimes, and this whole closer situation hopefully will sort itself out. They've got plenty of options. You wouldn't think they'd have it figured out by now, Corey, but they've got time. But still, maybe some urgency. Let's hopefully figure out who we can count on here.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They're 5-2 on the season. They're 4-0 when their 2 stud starters pitch, and they're 1-2 when they don't. Now, when you're a team that supposedly has this incredible depth in the pitching rotation, okay, is that just going to be the thing? Is like it's going to be hard for you to win games when those 2 guys aren't pitching, because you're supposed to have like good arms, not just 1 through 2, but 1 through 11, and some of these guys have had some hiccups. But what I like about Meat's approach that is different than his dad, and again, his dad was the most successful regular season coach in history. He will run guys out there in critical spots in these early season games because he wants to know what he has. So he ran. What do we say his name? Ballmeister.
Yeah, Ballmeister.
Ballmeister.
Shout out to Jackson. He puts a pronouncer for his last name in his Twitter bio. Smart.
So
man.
he throws him out there in the 8th inning, and then now listen, this guy's an electric arm. and was one of the highest recruited pitchers in the country. He puts them out there in the 8th inning of a 1-run game, and he gives up 2 straight hits on fastballs, and that's a wrap. He's done. And then Scalaro comes in and induces a double play, but then, he gave up a bomb. So you wonder, the one question I have, they do make more contact. I think they struck out 6 times on Sunday. They struck out 3 times on Saturday. That was 3 innings last year. 9 strikeouts. They would strike out 9 times in a row. So they are doing that. And yeah, if and when Tyler Martin gets back, that lengthens the lineup. And you've got really what I would say, they're not incredible. They're not going to be an incredible hitting team, but they're going to have a lot of, it's not true. I want to call them professional hitters. They're not, because they're not pros. I don't know. They might have NIL deals, Aslan. Who knows? I haven't seen any commercials with these guys, but they might be getting some cash.
Yeah, so
but
what makes them amateurs? Real quick, I don't want to, but I just thought about that. So if they're getting paid, are they still amateurs? I mean, can you be a professional playing against, anyhow?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? Answer that. Sorry. Carry on.
So I think they'll have this will be their approach. They're not gonna strike out a lot. They're gonna walk less than they normally do. That's what you hope materializes as the season goes on. And I do think Carry On had a.
Why won't they walk? Why won't they draw as many walks?
I think that they're more. They seem to be, in my opinion, man. They seem to be much more aggressive. Like if they get a first pitch fastball, they're not taking the stuff right down the middle anymore. I think Meat maybe has changed his philosophy a little bit when it comes to that, because teams, it used to be you want to write up a starting pitcher's pitch count, get him out of the game, get to the bullpen, because the bullpen is where you can make hay and beat him up. Well, now these starting pitchers are only lasting 50 or 60 pitches anyway. So if they have a couple good arms in the pen, maybe you're not in a race to drive up this guy's pitch count just to go face them. If this guy gives you an 87-mile-an-hour fastball to hit, go hit it. And I just think that again, they're not going to swing out of the zone. That's never going to be his approach. But I think he wants them aggressive on fastballs early in the count, and they have been. It just didn't work out on Sunday, but that does seem to be what they're doing. I mean, they're not walking 12, 14 times a game like they sometimes do in these early season games. But so anyway, the offense has a chance to be pretty good. It's not going to be great. I mean, they don't have a bunch of right now major league caliber hitters or high draft pick hitters that are going to make this a great college offense. I do think, I want to always call him Mr. Tubbs, but it's Mr. Tibbs, our man from Atlanta.
James.
They call me Mr. Tibbs. Man, he crushed that ball, by the way. I think he has a chance to be a legitimately great college hitter before his time is up. And maybe is it Jaime or Jamie?
Jaime. It's Jaime.
Jaime. The kid in front of him, those 2 freshmen are impressive. And in fact, the ranked kid is pretty impressive. Now, they haven't played great competition yet, but those guys all seem to know what they're doing with the bat, at least against this caliber of pitching. Anyway, hitting will be okay. Hitting will be pretty good. The offense will be pretty good. Defense, you hope, is pretty good too. Carry On, I think, is a really good shortstop. He made an error in that game. I don't think it came back to haunt him. I think they got out of that inning anyway, but he was trying to rush a double play, which was dumb because the kid had been stealing on the pitch, and he should have known that. And instead of trying to flip it quick to second, just take the sure out at first. Instead, he got neither. But I do think the defense, especially if Martin comes back, makes everything better. The pitching, man, I wonder about the back end. And maybe it's just recency bias because Scalaro did not perform well on Sunday. He has performed well in other times, really well, but he was not good on Sunday. And you wonder, okay, you have all these power arms, and then your guy in high leverage situations, and it's worked a lot in his career, but your guy in high leverage situations is topping out at 88. So is that, and if he's not hitting his spots with his off-speed stuff, he is imminently hittable. And so, you got other arms. Is that something you're still going to want to do? So with him, I think those are questions. Meat's not dug in anywhere. I think Meat's the kind of guy that'll be like, well, we'll see how the season goes. We'll see how, if he struggles again a couple more times, we'll make a change. Meat's not married to any of this. But he's got to find he's just got to find the guys he can count on. But that's what this first month is for. And it was a disappointing loss, sure. But overall, like you said, it was a good weekend. Sanford's not a bad club. And you beat them 2 out of 3, and your 2 starting pitchers were dominant.
You trounced them Friday and Saturday. I mean, you won 7-0, 7-1.
Yeah. Yeah, and the only run they got was a home run off Crowell on the
first pitch.
I can't remember.
It was absolutely first pitch. Yeah.
But other than that, the pitching was great. It's just you start to wonder. Okay, now these Sunday games, you can't pitch Messick and Hubbart every game, so you got to figure out what you're going to be doing on Sunday. And right now, I thought the kid Ross Dunn was pretty good on Sunday. He was certainly better than he was his first start, but again, he hasn't wrapped up that number 3 spot yet. So still a lot of questions left, but overall, I thought it was a good weekend and a little sloppy in the field. The base running, I just can't. I've never heard or seen a kid get hit as a base runner at third base on a fair ball. That's just impossible. And Meade even said something afterwards. It's like, you come to the ballpark and you're always going to see something new. And it was his runner, Brett Roberts, who has had a knack of doing this stuff, get hit on a fair ball that was going to be a double down the line. Like, why would he be anywhere near the chalk line as the base runner at third base? That they teach you that as 8-year-olds. So hopefully that will be the last time that ever happens.
Yeah, I do wonder. I mean, they are getting so much production on the bottom of their lineup, which are freshmen rather. And you do mention the fact that the level of competition. They'll get Cal this weekend. I don't even really know how good Cal is, but they're Power 5, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, like, are we really going to be depending on Trayton Rank and James Tibbs and Jaime Ferrer like in April against Louisville? It'd be cool. I wonder how many of those guys are really going to be involved in the entire thing.
And I think what you're going to do too, what Meade is going to do, and he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to do it. He is going to platoon a lot, so they're not going to be in bad spots where like Tibbs is facing a really nasty lefty, because that can spiral a kid into a slump where he goes 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. They're going to play Isaiah Perry. They're going to play other guys in the outfield. He wants a lot of platoon and a lot of left versus right and right versus left and all that. Like Reese Albert is going to platoon. He has platoon.
He has. He did it on Sunday,
Perry.
But it's been great. Yeah, him and Isaiah Perry have been freaking nails so far.
Yeah. Isaiah Perry can play, man, and he's really good against lefty pitching. Albert's pretty good against right-handed pitching, so that's a good combo to have.
Yeah. They have a midweeker in Macon. They really are. They're going to go to Macon. They're going to play a baseball game against Mercer. Nothing against that. Just usually those teams
odd,
come
right?
here.
Yeah. It's I get that's probably part of Meade's philosophy too. Is he wants to get them used to playing on the road, even in midweek games. That's why he went to Jacksonville. He's going to Mercer this time. I think they got another one too. Another kind of weird one later in the year. I'm not sure. Who knows? But anyway, they'll still be at home this weekend.
Now you're going to make me scroll and look for it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I can't.
Nobody's listening.
If you've made it this far. They're actually going to go to DeLand in May to play Stetson. Somebody the other day commented on our YouTube video. It was like one of our 25-minute shows. And they're like, I made it to the end. I'm like, there's only one of you that said that, so that's kind of a bummer. But, shout out to the one guy that did that. That was incredible.
I guess we should assume everybody makes it to the end, because how could you turn this off, gang?
Plus, you want to delete off your phone, and you have to let it play the entire way for it to automatically delete. So that's what happens when you subscribe to the podcast, which you should, as well as the Jeff Cameron Show, which is coming up 1 to 3 o'clock. Warchant.com. Lights are always on. Maybe Corey's story about Lonnie Alameda and the softball team's up. Maybe the Caden Lyles video is up for your folks' viewing pleasure. We're getting ready for football season, everybody. Wish me luck tomorrow, 6 a.m. I just don't. Corey, what should I do? I mean,
go to bed. Get at least 3 hours.
Think?
Yeah, get at least 3 hours. You'll feel better than 0 hours.
Yeah, I guess.
And just take a nap when you're done.
Big notepad. Wednesday, chock full of observations. Lots of football is what we do. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.